Hi, my name is Lacey Gray, and I'm a psychology student at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And today I'm so excited to tell you all about my summer research project, Just Forget It, Directed Forgetting of Disorder-Relevant and Negative Stimuli in Borderline Personality Disorder. What if I told you that a disorder you may have never heard of causes death by suicide in 1 out of every 10 people diagnosed? This disorder is known as borderline personality disorder, or BPD, and it affects not only the person with the disorder, but also every person that individual interacts with, due to its explosive and impulsive nature. A side effect of the disorder is harboring negative emotions, which in turn paints their memories in a negative light. For example, to a person with BPD, a request to wash the dishes may be seen as accusing them of being lazy and worthless. Rescheduling a date may be misconstrued as their partner hating them and not wanting to see them again. These small instances could be filed away by someone with BPD as hurtful and negative, and furthermore, they may not be able to forget these experiences. They may have a difficult time letting things go, which could contribute to the sadness, anger, or hopelessness they are typically feeling. I am studying how strongly people with BPD latch on to negative information and how easily they are able to forget this information if asked to. Now let's talk about my actual study. Since I didn't have access to people with the BPD diagnosis, the people I studied were either classified as having many personality traits synonymous with BPD, aka high BPDs, or people who had few or no traits synonymous with BPD, aka low BPDs. They were either presented with negative words related to BPD like cruel or abandoned, or negative words unrelated to the disorder like snake or burglar. I included 2 sets of words because if I saw an effect, I could ensure that the relevance to the disorder was not the sole reason for why it was hard to forget this information. They were all told that they needed to remember certain words for a test later in the study. The words appeared to them one by one on a computer screen for a couple of seconds, and each word was followed by an instruction to remember or forget, cueing them to remember half of the words and to forget the other half. This is an example of what the participants would have seen during the study. This is the instruction to remember the previous word. Another possible word they could have seen. And this instruction would be to forget the previous word. This is a screenshot of the memory test they completed after they saw all of the words. The catch is they were asked to write down any word they could remember from the list, regardless of whether they were supposed to remember or forget it. This way, I could see if they were actually able to forget the words they were asked to forget, or if they were unable to expel these words from their minds. My hypotheses are as follows. I predicted that all of the participants would recall more of the remember words. I also predicted that high BPDs would recall more of the forget words than low BPDs, indicating that BPD symptoms interfere with regular forgetting of negative information, BPD salient or otherwise. So, what did I find? I found that all participants did recall more of the remember words than the forget words, supporting my first hypothesis. Interesting enough, no one was able to forget the BPD salient words. A potential reason for this is that the BPD salient words were simply too related to one another to be forgotten. The words that participants were instructed to remember triggered the remembrance of the words they were instructed to forget. For example, if hate was a remember word that the participant recalled in the memory test, this could have made them remember the word cruel, a word they were supposed to forget. In other words, strong associations override the instruction to forget. This was not demonstrated in the words unrelated to BPD, so that participants remembered the remember words and forgot the forget words. Lastly, BPD symptoms played no role in how the participants performed. This did not support my hypothesis that high BPDs would recall more forget words. High BPDs and low BPDs performed the same. Previous studies show contradicting results on BPD symptoms and directed forgetting, so I have decided that the best way to interpret these results is to continue my study in the fall with a few major tweaks. My future study will have methodology changes to address the limitations of this study. I am more than happy to answer any questions about my current study or my plans for the future study during my time on the panel. Thank you to everyone who has supported me, and thank you to my audience for taking the time to listen. This research, although only half of my hypotheses were supported, is providing valuable information to the scientific community about how our brains work and about BPD, which could lead to a better treatment in the future.